name is Randy Ryan. I want to share my testimony of how God used a plane crash to change my life. March 23rd, 1994, I was in the 82nd Airborne, serving for United States Army, and was standing around with a bunch of my friends, and we were out by the airport where we get our parachutes, and heard a very loud plane coming towards us, and looked, and there was a F-16 fighter jet crashing into us. The plane crashed and went about 30 yards from where I was at, and I dove under a bush. When I came out from under that bush, the whole area was engulfed in flames, and I ran up to the first soldier that I tried to help. He was fully engulfed in flames. I grabbed him by his hand to pull him out from the burning wreckage, and his hand came off like a glove, and screaming the whole time. I extinguished the flame with my bare hands, thinking how much it was burning my hands, and this guy was wearing these flames. This came upon the second guy, and what this guy said to me was what changed my life forever. As I leaned down to this soldier, that's clothing was totally burned off, his hair was all burned off, parts of his ear. He looked up at me with the most peace in his eyes and said, "Don't worry about me, Sarge. Help my friends. I know I'm gonna die, but I know where I'm going." I never seen so much peace in anyone's eyes in my life. At that time, I could not help him. I extinguished the rest of the flames on his body and moved on to help other soldiers. These first two soldiers passed away about 2 hours later. The first soldier was scratching, trying to hang on to this life. The second soldier was content with what he had done in this life and was ready to go home to be with the Lord. When I returned back to my unit thought I had been killed in the plane crash because it was 5 hours after, and my commander told me to call my parents, that they seen it on CNN and they just knew I was out there. And so I called, and my father asked me if I was okay, and I told him physically I was, mentally I couldn't understand how God could do something like this. My dad was a devout Christian man, loves the Lord, and I said, when I asked him why, he said the most wise thing I've ever heard. He said, "Son, I can't answer your why. I can just tell you that if you turn it over to him, he'll bless you for it." It took me about 6 months. Was awarded the highest peacetime award in the military, called the Soldier's Medal. They call it, the nickname is the Peacetime Medal of Honor. And anyway, when they presented that in front of my post by a 3-star general, they told me not to say anything about God, and I didn't say I wasn't. All I stated was, if it wasn't for the grace of God, I wouldn't be standing here. That transformed into sharing my testimony and seeing tens of thousands of people come to know the Lord, all the way to sharing it on Billy Graham Crusade. But the highlight was sharing at Pastor Wickard's church outside of Detroit. It'll be a year in September, and it's a small church, and 15 people gave their heart to the Lord. And a couple months after, a 40-year-old man that had gave his life had passed away and went home to be with the Lord. There's no greater joy than seeing someone turn their life over to the Lord for a tragedy that you went through. And you always hear how people say, if you turn it over to God, He'll bless you. And He will, and to see it firsthand and to see how much He can bless you for. I lost 25 friends March 23rd in '94, but the number of friends and brothers and sisters that I'll be living eternity with, I won't know until that day when I get to go home to be with the Lord. The reason why I share my testimony is because God put me through a tragedy, and it needs to be heard how God works. We have two soldiers in this situation, one scraping and trying to hang on to this life, and another one ready to go. Well, I want to share with as many people as I can about how you don't have to worry after you leave this world. We didn't know that plane was going to crash. I didn't know that 25 of my friends were going to be leaving this world. But I know I don't ever want to have to carry the burden of not sharing my testimony through either words or my actions. I don't ever want to carry that burden ever again. I could have been a witness to these guys that passed away, but due to stubbornness, I wasn't.
I come to the garden alone, while you still on the road, and the voice I hear calling on my ear, the Son of God is Moses, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy He shared as He tarries with none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of His voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is great, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy He shared as He tarries with none other has ever known. and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and tells me I am His own, and the joy is there as we carry there. None other has ever known. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.